Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. Today I'm going to be showing you this basic cardboard armor piece tutorial. Enjoy. So this is my first iteration of the design, right? We have this collarbone piece and then we have these two pauldrons. Now the idea is this is going to be a light piece of armor that you can throw on and off really quickly, and it's going to be a lot less tedious to put on than the breastplate and placard that I made. These pauldrons will be strapped onto this piece right here, so it will be one whole piece of armor that you wear. So let's build that. So we have the standard box from Aldi right here. I'm gonna salvage this piece for the front part. So we're just cutting out basic shapes. So here are the excess pieces. And here's the rough draft. Then I cut out the neck piece, and I also glued on another piece of cardboard. Remember, this is all just free-handed and sketched out. There's no templates or anything like that I'm using. Next, I'm cutting out these straps like 20 inches long and 4 inches wide. The length doesn't really matter as long as they're long enough. And they're going to be 2 pieces of cardboard thick. So I'm going to attach the shoulder straps. Now I'm just going to mount them just like that because I want it to be flexible. I'm going to put some hot glue and then some tape over that. Make sure you're using a quality tape because this part's going to be pretty weak. Now, when that is all dried up and everything, you're going to want to bend it, break into the armor a little bit, because when you try to put it on, it's going to resist. So make sure everything is fit into and broke into. Next, this part's very easy. You're just going to get a scrap piece of cardboard. I cut those angles at them, and all I'm going to do is glue that right there. I'm going to leave like a 5-inch gap in between these two straps, and then you just glue those on, cut off the excess, and then you're good with the back. Now that that's glued on properly, I'm going to cut out a spot for the back of the neck, and I'm also going to cut out the shape of the back. A simple curve will do, and I just completely cut that out from scratch. No measuring, no templates, nothing. Make sure to reinforce the back with some hot glue, and then let that dry. Before we move on to the pauldrons, I'm going to go around the rim of this with a line of hot glue and then put dots to make rivets. And that's something I usually do with a lot of armor and shields. Here's a good example of the rivets I'm talking about on these pavises and this heater shield. I like to do this part in fourths. So right now I'm doing the first quarter, and then I'm going to wait for this part to dry. And then I'm going to do this side and then the back sides. Now that the chest piece is done, I'm just holding it in place so it keeps its shape better. We're going to move on to the shoulder pads now. So I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. Now notice how there's lines right here. That kind of divides the two pieces the shoulder pad's going to be made out of. Now because this is supposed to be basic tutorial, I'm not going to add as many pieces as possible, because the more pieces you add, the smoother the curve's going to be. But 2 pieces will do. Piece number 1 is going to look like this, and this is a rough shape I just pulled out of my head. To create piece number 2, I'm using piece number 1, flipping it upside down like this. And when that's flush, I'm going to trace this right here on both sides, just like so. Next thing you're going to want to do is grab piece 1, flipped upside down, and glue them together like that. So it turns out I'm actually going to need one more piece onto each other like that. So it adds an additional curve over the shoulder. And there we go. Now you just gotta bend that a little bit, make sure it's stuck in the right position. I use some duct tape to reinforce the edges a little bit. And now what I'm gonna do is trim along the outsides to remove all those sharp corners and make it look like a real piece of steel. And there you go. You just gotta repeat that process one more time. So here we go. I actually trimmed off a little bit of excess, and I made that shape right there. So when you move your arm, there will be some flexibility involved. Now, to create the braces, I could do a very cool, intricate design, but to keep this as simple as possible, because this is a basic armor guide, I'm just going to do the practicality of the armor, but with a simple shape. And that basic shape is a cardboard rectangle. Yeah, 3 seems to be about the perfect number to cover up the rest of your arm. So I'm using these golden paper fasteners, aside from the small silver ones, which are great for things like gauntlets because they take up less space. But these ones are better for this kind of project because they're longer and a little bit more durable. So I'm just going to stick these fasteners through the corners of all these pieces. That is done on both pieces, and when you flip them over, you can see that there's some level of flexibility, But yeah, I'm going to fix that to the inside of this pauldron. And I'm also going to add a piece of duct tape that connects from this end to that end, and that will keep your arm in place. Just like so. Now that those are glued in place, the tape should provide some extra flexibility going this way and going this way. So get your piece of armor that we've just built, and then you're going to get the 2 pauldrons we also constructed, and we're going to figure out a way to mount them to the piece of armor. Some paracord would work nicely. So this is what it looks like unpainted. As you can see, the paracord fastening works flawlessly. And I'm going to use a metallic silver to spray paint this whole thing. Okay, now that is all painted silver, the last thing I'm going to do is add some straps and buckles so you can actually wear this without it falling off. So you're going to want to get a few yards worth of this strap off of Amazon, and then these plastic buckles I use because they're very good at adjusting cardboard armor like this. And then you're going to want to glue it from end to end, and then make sure this side is facing the back, so when you adjust it, this extra strap won't get in your way. And there you go, just like that. And there you have it, a basic cardboard armor tutorial. Now, historically, this is just a good way to add a few pieces of plated armor over your chainmail or gambeson. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like these builds that I do, like and subscribe for more videos.